स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे.
Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Today I'll be speaking on 17th Sutra. Each Patanjali Sutras are independently intelligent to lead man to the ultimate experience. See, whatever you are going through with the body and mind is an experience. For example, eating food or sleeping, sitting, walking, even the weather, hot or cold, whatever you go through is an experience. But your body and mind, your brain and the body is hardwired for ultimate experience, which we call samadhi. See, by its very nature, it is hardwired for samadhi. So experiencing that ultimate state is the purpose of human life. All the spiritual literatures work towards that one experience. The literatures which works towards that experience only can be called as spiritual literature. Patanjali's each sutra is independently intelligent to lead human beings to that state. One sutra is enough, it can lead without any help of any other sutras. It can directly lead a human being to the highest conscious experience for which he is hardwired, he is created, he is made. It is such a joy to see and experience each sutra. See, sometimes, if you remember something which you really enjoy, like a nostalgical memories, how you feel joyful, the same nostalgical sweet memories I have with these Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Each sutra brings so much of joy, clarity, understanding, experience. It is unimaginable that how each sutra independently can lead human beings to the ultimate conscious experience for which he is hardwired. Let me recite the sutra and give you the translation, and we'll try to understand the truths. Vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita, rupanugamat, samprajnataha. The moment I read the sutras, I am seeing so many wonderful new things coming up. So I'll again try to give you the essence, gist. Vitarka, the first word, let me give you the translation. Reasoning, contemplation, blissful flowering, and the state of pure awareness are the characteristics of Samprajnata Samadhi. Reasoning, contemplation, blissful flowering, and the state of pure awareness are the characteristics of the Samprajnata Samadhi. Vitarka. Let's understand this first word, vitarka. Right reasoning. In Sanskrit we have three words, tarka, kutarka, vitarka. Tarka means simple logic. Very simple logic. Kutarka means constantly negating, constantly negating. If you want to see the Kudarka, see in the intellectuals. You can see Kudarka obviously. You can touch and feel Kudarka in an intellectual's presence. See, you can touch and experience God in an enlightened being's presence. In the very air, you can touch and feel the divinity. Same way, the Kudarka can be experienced in the very air in which an intellectual is there. Anybody goes around him will feel sucked. After half an hour, 1 hour being around him, if they come out, they will be either in depression or almost on the verge of depression. Somehow he knows how to put people down. Kudarka, negating logic. Please understand, Vidarka means beyond the ordinary logic or negating logic. Let me describe in this way. See the simple basic truth. I can say this is the click for today. Having thoughts is not thinking. Please understand. Having thoughts is not thinking. Having thoughts does not mean you are thinking. Sometimes you see huge crowd thoughts are there in you. That does not mean you are thinking. It is there, it is there, it is there. Suddenly some joy comes up and it dances in your inner space for half an hour. And after 1 hour suddenly some suffering comes up and it dances. And after 2-3 hours suddenly some worry comes up and it dances. And you don't know why all these 3 guys came and what they did. Please understand, having thoughts is not thinking. Darka means simple logic. Kudarka means negative logic. Vidarka means the right reasoning beyond the simple logic or negative reasoning. The right reasoning. See, the way in which you think, the way in which thoughts are created in your system, if it leads you to the peak potential for the experience for which you are hardwired, you are having vidarka, means right reasoning. Sometimes you can see one thought will lead to another thought, will lead to another thought. Suddenly, you are in such a deep, relaxed feeling, a deep, relaxed experience. Any thought which leads you to the deep peace, relaxed feeling, it's called vidarka. Any thought which creates so much of negativity, ill feeling about you, and which radiates the same ill feeling about others, it's called kudarka. If you are going against the way in which for which you are hardwired, it's kudarka. If you are going in the direction for which you are hardwired, it's called vidarka. Please understand. I can give you thousands of examples, thousands of stories, thousands of examples how the Kudarka and Vidarka works. The people with Kudarka cannot agree with anything with anybody. They will be constantly shrinking. This is one of the big danger when we start creating conditionings. Please understand. There are some religions which are more political and social. There are some religions which are more physical. There are some religions which are mental. There are some religions pure conscious. Here, Patanjali is a pure conscious religion. That is why the truths which he is giving, if you start working on it, there is every chance you will become enlightened. But there is every chance you may not be politically correct, or you may not be socially correct. You may not be politically correct. You may not be socially correct, because when you go out of Kudarka, sometimes you are little useless for the world. See, to be in the world, you need little negating logic. Constantly saying no. Constantly saying no. Here, if you start working in the line of Vidarka, suddenly you will see, you start saying yes to everything. Suddenly you feel such a deep yes in your being. Your whole being will radiate that yes. Your whole being will start radiating that yes. For everything you will feel such a deep yes. I can see very clearly when I read the sutras how this transformation happened inside my very being. I have experienced the sutras. How I had the Darka, Kudarka and Vidarka. All these things I can see very clearly. Maybe I can tell this story which happened in my life. It's a little mystical, but it is truth. So I'll share with you all. The young age, I used to go to the many satsangs. I was born and brought up in Arunachala. It's one of the very spiritual nerve center in South India. Largest Shiva temple is there. It's a community based on temple based community. There is no industry, there is nothing else. Whole village runs with that one temple as a center. It's like a huge temple complex, and people who serve in the temple, they are all around the city, that's all. That's the way the whole village was developed. And still now, that is the largest building in the town is a temple. Not only in that temple, I can say, not only in that town, I can say at least we have 500,000 towns in India. Still the largest building in the town is the temple. And there are many towns and cities, there is a law, you cannot build taller than the temple tower. They don't let you build any other building which is taller than the temple tower to maintain the sanctity and the respect. Still, The temple is the largest structure and nobody can defeat because 25-acre built up area in granite. So nobody will need that big a house. So every day some satsang, something will be going on. Those days I used to have small Ganesha with me and I'll do puja every day to that Ganesha. I'll pour water, put little food in front of Ganesha and wave the lights, wave the camphor. It was really like I was living with him. It was not just doing some little puja or anything. Living with him. Strong feeling connection. See, if you are just doing puja for some other reason, you will never enter into that place again second time. I have seen many people doing puja. Morning they will go into that puja room, damadama, dum 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 dum. They will roll with that deity and pour water or whatever needs to be done. Once they come out, they will never even turn that side again. Because it is such a heavy routine on them, dead routine on them, they never do the mistake of entering into that same room again second time. But with me it was like a living with him. Whole day I'll be sitting, fanning him or doing whatever I can. Anything given to me, I'll bring it and put it in front of him. I was living with him, small boy. I went to one satsang. That teacher, Acharya, who was talking, he was narrating an incident from a saint's life. His name is Nambiyandar Nambi. He was born and brought up in South India. Great saint. His life story that master was describing. It's a very beautiful story. That his father used to worship one Ganesha in one Ganesha temple every day. One day the father fell sick. Then he asked the son, please you go on, do the worship. Then son goes with the food and all the worship articles. He does the sacred bath and does all the things and puts the food in front of Ganesha. And the son thinks really Ganesha will eat every day. He is doing first time. So he thinks Ganesha is supposed to eat. And he is sitting, waiting for Ganesha to eat. Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, food is there. And this guy started worrying. What happened? Did I do anything wrong? You are not eating. And he started talking. Of course, no response. Then he started telling, if you don't eat, if I go back, my father may fire me. He may shout at me. Please do something. If I have done some mistakes, forgive me. Please eat. Of course, Ganesha is very silent. If they start eating, who will put the food in front of them? Anyhow, he was silent. Then he became very serious. The Nambiyandar Nambi, the saint, he became very serious. He said, no, you have to eat. Please eat. Otherwise, see the Shraddha, beautifully the Upanishad says, Kathopanishad says, Shraddha Vivecha. When he is describing about Nachiketa, a Upanishadic hero, they use the word Shraddha Vivecha. He was possessed by Shraddha. Sometime, rarely this happens to even you. You can see, some very difficult time, suddenly you decide, I'll be very straight and honest and dharmic. I'll not bend. You know, if you little adjust, tell one lie, or alter the word, you can escape from the situation. It can be eased, but suddenly sometime you feel, no, I am going to be very straight. Come whatever may. Those few moments, you are possessed by Shraddha, the truth. Shraddha Vivecha, a very powerful word. possessed by Shraddha, truth, trust. That Shraddha Vivecha happened to this Nambi Andar Nambi. Suddenly he felt Ganesha has to eat. He has to eat. He starts weeping. He says, till you eat, I am not going to leave this place. 5-6 hours over, but food is there, Ganesha is sitting. Then he goes to the extreme, suicidal threat. He says, I'll hit my head in the steps and die if you don't eat. And starts hitting his head. Of course, don't try. Don't try. The TV, in the motor ads, the car ads, they say, closed lanes and professional drivers, don't try. Same way, saints tried, you don't try. When that Shraddha Vivecha happens, you are in a different plane. Even the doubt does not exist. He just knows that Ganesha is going to eat. He started hitting his head. And the story says, suddenly Ganesha appeared and ate the food and blessed him. When that saint, that small boy, he goes back to his father. Father asks, what happened? Where is the food? He said, Ganesha ate. Father could not believe. Ganesha ate or did you eat? He said, no, Ganesha ate. If you want, come. I'll show you. Then he takes the father. There, the father sees the mouth of Ganesha, the food, the remains. The story says, father fell at the feet of the son, said, all these years, I was only doing it as a ritual. You made it as reality. You made it as truth. When I heard this story, suddenly I decided, I'll also feed Ganesha. That Shraddha Vivecha happened. Means possessed by that Shraddha. Strong. See, when you are possessed by Shraddha, you will not have Kudarka at all. Understand? You will not have Kudarka. You may ask me, why? When you heard the story of Nambi and Nambi, you tried, but you are telling us not to try. See, in my case, there was no Kudarka at all. If there is no Kudarka, you are also a professional. You can try. But you see inside, one corner of you, there is a Kudarka. That's why I am saying, till that Kudarka disappears, don't try. Especially these risky techniques. I decided, I'll also make Ganesha eat. Let me tell you what all the mistakes I did and how I had this Kudarka. See, when I heard the story, I decided, I will also make my Ganesha eat. This is Darka, simple logic. When he made Ganesha to eat, why not me? Simple Darka. The next step, what I did, see, in my house, it's a giant family. I had one old lady, one of my grandmothers. Means it's like many people will be staying, you don't know who is who and who is what. And not only that, 3-4 streets are relatives. That's the way the Indian communities will live. The 3-4 street will be your cousin, cousin brother, nephew, name it, and they will be there. And they will marry just inside the family and relatives. So, this old lady, if the kids are not eating, she will always threaten them. Hey, I'll put you inside the well. The center of the house, there will be a huge well. I'll put you inside the well. She will shout. So I heard only that logic. So naturally, what will I do? I went and put a little food in front of Ganesha and told him, eat now. When I saw half an hour he did not eat, I started using the same thing. Hey, I'll put you in the well. Kudarka, please understand. Because I heard only that. See, this satsangi, the teacher, he taught me darka. This environment, this old lady, she taught me kudarka. The same way, I started shouting. I told she will use all the old Tamil words to threaten. I started using all those words. Better you eat now or you are going to be in the well. And Ganesha was there silently. I decided I am going to put him in the well. And usually what she does, I have seen, she will take the kid in the hand and take little food in the other hand and she will show the well. See, I will drop you. These kids will shout, cry. They will open the mouth. She will put the food inside. When the kids start crying, they will naturally open the mouth. She will put the food inside. Then it will go. That's the way she will feed. I decided I will also do the same thing with Ganapati, with that Ganesha. I took the Ganesha in one hand and food in the other hand. I showed the well. Hey, see the well. I will throw you inside. And he's not opening the mouth. I tried 2-3 times. Then I decided there used to be a vessel in which they will take the water from the well. I put the Ganesha in that vessel. I started lowering, threatening him. See, I will really drown you. I will really drown you. And when the vessel was about to touch the water level, suddenly I realized, maybe now he would have changed the mind and he wants to eat, but there is no food in the vessel. So I brought him out, put the food also in the vessel, and started doing again. And it was almost in the water level, that vessel. That bucket is in the water level, but nothing is happening. I did not have the mind to really put the Ganesha into the water also. It was too much. He really means a lot for me. And it's a very strong relationship. So I can only threaten. I cannot put him in the well, actually. So what to do? Finally, I took him out. I said, all right, maybe he did not like the cooking. He did not like the food. See how the Kudarka works. Kudarka says everything is wrong except you. Understand? That is the Kudarka. Kudarka means everything is wrong except you. Then I started thinking the food is not right. My mother is not cooking properly. I went to the temple. The temple, they offer food to the deities. I thought that food is eaten by deities every day. So I went to the cook, the temple cook. I used to do a lot of voluntary work. When the young boy, I'll go to the temple and wash the vessels, clean the floor. All the kids, that is the only entertainment. That's the only entertainment, and I used to do a lot of that kind of work. So I asked that cook, will you give me a little food for my Ganesha? So he said, what little food? Have more. He gave one big lot. I brought it to the house and said, see, I brought the same diet which you are eating in the temple every day. Now there is no reason, no excuse. Come on, eat. And I was sitting. Maybe 3-4 hours. He was not eating. I said, now right diet I brought, I am not going to let you today. So again I put him in that bucket and started the same drama. And then actually, by then I memorized all the abusive words my grandmother tells to make a child eat. All those words like a sloka I memorized and started repeating. I really thought that those words are very powerful. They will make him eat. And all the techniques I tried with my whole diet. I tried everything step by step with this new diet. And I put him in the bucket and again started drowning, almost in the water level. So from here I started shouting. I even started asking, are you listening to what I am saying? Whether the sound is audible. Then, of course, he was not eating. But I could not drown him, because it's a very strong relationship, very loving relationship. So what to do? I took him out. I can say I was really depressed, very worried, and very strong depression, completely low mood. Just I was sitting, what to do? Practically I fixed all the problems, whatever I am supposed to do. See, if my grandmother does all these things to any child, the child eats. And I know only those techniques. I don't know any other techniques. I have not read any book how to feed Ganapati or how to feed kids. Whatever manual was there in front of me, that whole thing I worked. Nothing works. Nothing is working. So I was sitting. The Ganapati was lying there. So I was sitting. One nice thing with Shraddha, trust is, even if you start with Kudarka, the power of trust is such, the power of Shraddha is such, it turns the whole thing to Vidarka. Please understand, the power of trust is such, even if you start with a wrong logic, it turns the whole thing to right logic. Because the trust is not just energy or logic, it is intelligence. Intelligence with logical energy. Darka is logic, Kudarka is negative logic, and Vidarka is trust with positive energy and logic. The Shraddha is so powerful. Suddenly something clicked in me. Oh God, I can say this was one of the powerful click happened in my life. Very strong click. I realized that Nambi, that saint who made Ganesha to eat, that saint tortured himself, not Ganesha. But here I am torturing Ganesha, not myself. That strong click, that Kudarka became Vidarka. The wrong reasoning became right reasoning. When the click happened, I thought, right. Yes. Nambi found fault with himself when Ganesha did not eat. When Lord Ganesha did not eat the food, he found the fault with himself, not with Ganesha or not with something else, not with the diet. He was not complaining about outside. He turned inside. In my case, I was complaining about Ganesha. I was trying what my granny was trying, and I was talking about the diet, and I was thinking that my mother is not cooking properly, and I was thinking everything outward. I was doing Kudarka. I was finding fault with everything external. Suddenly I realized, yes, I have to turn and look in. Look in. The problem must be within me. Let me work. That Vitarka click has happened. The right reasoning. That click has happened. Please understand. It was a very strong click. Yes. With Nambi, he did tapas. But in my case, I am torturing Ganesha. Let me do tapas. When the click happened, see, a strong Shraddha is already there. Shraddha is like a loaded gun. When that right Vidarka happens with Shraddha, it's like a triggering the gun. Without Shraddha, without that strong trust, the kudarka can never become vidarka. The wrong reasoning can never become right reasoning. With Shraddha, when the right reasoning happens, trigger was pulled. Just the trigger was pulled. A loaded gun. Trust is like a loaded gun. And when right reasoning happens, vidarka happens, it's triggered. The trigger is pulled. Understand? Suddenly the click happened. Yes. It's time. I look inside. I turn inside and change something in me. Then I decided, now I am not going to eat till Ganesha eats. It's a strong will. Even in those days I used to be very strong. Strong will. Once I decide, it has to happen. That's all. I was sitting with Ganesha, brought the food, arranged everything. I was sitting. Actually, I used to have a small shrine, kind of temple, backside of the house, my own. I'll be staying and spending time only in there. I can say that is the first ashram I built for myself and for my deities. I used to be spending my time there only. So nobody will disturb me in the house. Usually they will send the food or I'll go and bring my food for the food time. Otherwise I'll be spending time there only. So I sat with all the arrangements for Ganesha to eat. I am very clear because of the trust that Shraddha, no doubt that he may eat, may not eat. See, if he does not eat, there is some problem with me, that's all. But the very incident itself, there is no doubt. The possibility, the Ganesha came and ate in that Nambiyandar Nambi's life, that incident is a reality for me. The factuality of that incident, I never questioned. I can say that is where that kudarka which happened with the factualities of our Puranas is the worst thing happened to the Indian consciousness. Understand? That's the worst thing happened to Indian consciousness. Whether it happened because of them or some foreign invasion taught to them, but that's the worst thing happened to Indians. The kudarka happened with their tradition, with the great Puranas. Please understand, I am working with thousands and thousands of patients, means people with diseases, different kinds of diseases. In India, I am well known for healing. Different kinds of patients, diseases, all these things I am handling. Last 6 years, I don't know how many thousands of people have been healed, helped. In my experience, I have started understanding many important secrets about body and mind. I have read many of them in the Upanishads or in the Puranas, in the traditional scriptures. But experientially now I started realizing, please understand, literally what you believe as your body and mind becomes reality in 10-20 days in your life. I have seen this happening. For example, allopathy, Ayurveda, homeopathy, Kapalpathy, all kinds of pathis are there now. All kinds of pathis. In India, every doctor has his own pati. If you go to Ayurvedic doctors and Siddha doctors, each doctor has his own pati, his own system. Working with all these patients and listening to their case histories, the way in which they went to doctors and experiences, and especially talking and relating with many doctors, with all of them, I came upon with some of the important truths. What system you believe works for your body from the young age, that system actually works for you. From the young age, for what system your vitarka is developed, for which system your vitarka, your right reasoning is built, that system exactly works for you. From the young age, if you are taught by somebody, the yoga will work for you, and you grow with that one idea, the yogic solution straight away cures that person. There is no other logic. Please understand, I am revealing some of the important business secrets which are done in the yogic, Ayurvedic and Siddha and different other healing systems. From the young age, somebody is brought up with idea, Siddha works for his body. And 2-3 times they engaged, the doctor gave some Siddha medicine and it worked really for him. If he was brought up with that idea, Siddha straight away works for him. The idea with which his vitarka is developed, that straight away works for him. If you are brought up with the idea, the right reasoning, that Puranas are reality, please understand, I promise, you can straight away see that Puranic deities and the heroes and relate with them. Very beautifully Aurobindo says in one of his book, his famous book Savitri. Aurobindo is a great modern day master from the Vedic tradition. One of his amazing books Savitri, he beautifully says in his foreword, in his introduction, the deities and gods and heroes and different energies represented in Puranas, described in Puranas, are the physical manifestations of particular energies corresponding to the cosmic consciousness, cosmic conscious representations. For example, Devi means she represents the mother energy of the cosmos, which gives birth, which reproduces, which creates. She represents that energy. And you can connect with that energy through the manifestation with which you are brought up. Please understand. If you are made to understand the trust that this is the form of Devi, if you connect to this form, you will connect to Mother Nature. If this vitarka is developed in your system, please understand, you have a channel open for you to create miracles in your life. You are a superhuman. Please understand. It's like a difference between having 10-channel TV, 10-channel network and 100-channel network. But somehow, see, if you are developed with the right vitarka, right logic, right reasoning, that this is the form of a Devi, if you connect to this Devi, the Mother Nature works for you. You will connect with Mother Nature. If you are brought up with this right reasoning, with this right vitarka, you are like a 100-channel dish, 100-channel TV network. Now, you have that unique capabilities of expressing miracles in your life, attracting miracles in your life. Your very being, your very consciousness is capable enough of creating the miracles. Understand? I am working with millions of disciples. With my own experience, I tell you, whoever is developed with that vitarka, I am able to heal them, do whatever they want in their life, play or express miracles in their life directly. One word is enough. That's all. Indian civilization was brought up with that vitarka, right reasoning. The greatest civilization. Otherwise, you cannot imagine millions of people spending hundreds of years building temples. If you see any Indian temple, you will be shocked. The amount of energy they have put. The temple which is in my native place, I don't know how many hundreds of years, how many millions of workers were working. It's complete granite hand carved. Even the slabs for the ground, flooring is hand carved granite. There is no question of machineries. Hand carved. You cannot inspire millions of people, understand? It's hand carved, artist work, artwork. So every individual who is working has to be inspired and convinced towards the ideology for which he is working. You cannot make temples out of slave people, because it is an art piece. Each stone is carved. I can say each inch is carved. Expression of art, completely centered on divinity, our Puranas, our Upanishads, our Vedic truths, and the Vedic deities. And you cannot make millions of people work inspired way unless they experience the truth for which they are working. And India is such a free civilization where the knowledge was encouraged, arguments were encouraged, thinking was encouraged. It was an open society, and especially anybody who is an artist naturally will have his own questions. If he has evolved to the level of an artist, he cannot be bound, he cannot be slave, he will not be a slave. It means what? Naturally, all those millions had at least glimpse of those experience of the deities, gods, the energies which are described in those Puranas and expressed in those temples. Naturally, it was some way living truth for them. The whole civilization, please understand, the whole city, if the temple has to be built, the whole kingdom has to concentrate all its resources on the temple. The whole kingdom has to work. There is one temple in South India, Tanjore, Shiva temple. It's a 217 feet tall tower, complete granite. And I don't know how many miles, hundreds of miles, that granite was moved by the elephants and carved and assembled. The whole thing happened in just 6 years. Means the whole kingdom was working for that cause. The whole kingdom was working for that cause. And there are some temples built for generations, hundreds of years. Means for the whole civilization was dedicated to that cause. How can that happen? Because the whole civilization was built on right logic, vidarka. From the young age, the vidarka was taught. The right reasoning was taught. Because of the right reasoning, the vidarka, they were able to experience those gods. They were able to experience those truths. They were able to experience those energies. See this, the traditional stories you hear, that a rishi cursed somebody and that curse came true. Rishi gave boon to somebody and that boon came true. Means what? The whole civilization was built on that right reasoning, on that right energy, vidarka. So they are able to play with that energies. They were able to play with that energies. That kind of a power, the access they had. The worst thing happened to Indian civilization is kudarka towards their own tradition. Their own tradition. Understand, it is time. Awaken. It is time. Awake. As beautifully Vivekananda says, Uttishtata Jakrata Prapyavaran Nibotataha. Beautifully Vivekananda says, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Arise, awake. O Indian civilization, what you lost. Understand, The loss is not only for Indian civilization, because they lost, the whole world lost. It's a great thing which got developed. Amazing experiment which was done for thousands of years by the great visionaries, and the amount of energy, intelligence put in that direction. The essence is a civilization with right logic, vitarka. When we lost that, understand, we lost the whole thing which Indian civilization can offer to us. When that kutarka, the wrong, negative logic happened with about our own tradition, it's practically like you put all your energy and created some gift, some great achievement, and somebody came and destroyed it without even your knowledge. Understand? India is not just a land. It is a way of life. It's way of life. Bharat is way of life. I know many people, NRIs, non-residential Indians, who are not residing in India, but Indians. And I know there are many people who are not born in India, but Indians. Bharat, they live Bharat. And I know many people, RNIs, residential non-Indians. Residential non-Indians. The idiots are sitting inside the land. They are inside the nectar ocean, but tightly closing all their holes so that the nectar should not enter into their system. Tightly sealed. They are very careful that nectar should not enter into their system by any mistake. That is what I call them, RNIs, residential non-Indians. Bharat is the culture, please understand. This vitarka is the greatest gift. The being brought up with the right reasoning. With the right reasoning. I can say this is the worst thing happened to India. That losing the faith, losing the trust over their own Puranas. The kudarka, negating logic happening towards their own Puranas. Sometimes these guys come and ask me, Swamiji, is these deities are all true or they are all just symbols? I tell them, they are much more true than you. Your nonsensical idea which you are carrying as you. These guys, these questions are, if it is from somebody who is born and brought up in some other civilization, all right, okay, it's new for them. It is not even from the people who are from some other civilization, from these very own Indians. RNIs, residential non-Indians. It's the worst thing, understand. I don't know how strongly I feel when I tell you this truth. Because I can see from both sides. I can see the vidarka and kudarka. I can see the right reasoning and wrong reasoning. How these wrong reasoning fellows are suffering, losing the great heritage which their forefathers created, which their forefathers visioned, the vision which they created, the civilization which they created, the amazing lifestyle which they created, the whole thing was based on vitarka. See, the young age, if you go to some people and talk to them, you will listen Ramayana. If you go to your grandmother and talk to her, you will listen Mahabharata. If you go to temple, you will see the whole thing in stone. So naturally, the whole atmosphere was created to evolve with the right reasoning, vitarka. I am so happy. I feel so blessed that I had a fortune and I was born and brought up in a place where still vitarka is alive. The right reasoning is alive. It is such a great gift, understand. It is an amazing gift. You don't know the amount of relaxation and the restful awareness and stress-free life I am living. There is no fear. Just there is no fear. There is no insecurity. Just it is not there. Forget about having and fighting and all those things. Just it is not there. I don't know what to tell. Such an ecstasy to live in this body with this, what I call consciousness or mental setup. It's purely, the only reason is the bringing up, the where I lived and I grew, the possibility, the energy of the right reasoning, the Vidarka was alive. It is time we remind our civilization what we lost and bring our civilization back to the Vidarka, the right reasoning. Let your kids, at least let your kids learn about these deities and understand they are alive, available. For your call, they are available. Please understand, when I am talking, I am responsible for what I am talking. I mean what I am saying. Then sometimes people ask, what to do about us, Swamiji? We can bring up our kids with the right reasoning, but what to do about our mind? Understand, things are not that bad. Don't worry. Start creating this Vidarka, right reasoning. In 1 or 2 years, you will forget you had sometime Kudarka. You had wrong reasoning. 1 or 2 years is more than enough to build the right reasoning. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Constantly remembering, working with the right reasoning, you will see. Your mind is a child. You may be thinking you have grown. Relax. Fortunately, it has not happened. Fortunately, it has not happened. Even now, the possibility for Vidarka, right reasoning, is available. Let me come back to my story. When the right reasoning happened with the trust, I was sitting with the Ganesha. One day over, and the food is there. I was very strong. No question of eating. No question of eating till you eat. So I'll go and bring food from the house and keep the food in front of Ganesha, and I'll sit. I'll remove the old food, throw it away, and sit. One day was over, one night was over, and I was not even sleeping. I was sitting. And again, second day is also over. I was very strong. See, a small boy without food, naturally the logic will be imbalanced. The willpower will come down. I said, nothing doing. I'm going to do it. Till he eats, I'm not going to eat. Maybe third day, I touched that zone when this trust and Vitarka, right reasoning, both became part of the very bio-memory, the prarabdha, the very system. That is when that explosion happened. Suddenly, I can say, it's surely not unconscious. I fell into some state and I saw very clearly Ganesha sitting in front of me and eating. If it hurts your Kudarka, I am sorry. Again, but I have to tell you the truth. When I opened my eyes and saw, I promise there was no food. The food disappeared. Whatever way you want to understand, understand. But the food was not there. And I know Ganapati ate. Maybe people with Kudarka can tell. Who knows, when you were closing eyes, some rat would have come and ate. Whether Ganesha ate, his mouse ate, let the Kudarkis decide. Kudarkis think about that. I don't know about that. But I know for sure Ganesha ate. Because, see, when he eats, he gives you some prasada. Means he gives you some benefits, the boons, a strong trust, an extraordinary ecstasy. Those are the prasadas, gifts, boon from the Lord. I have received that prasada. It means I know, yes, he ate. I have had that prasada. I had that experience in me. So I know he ate. Even though very difficult. See, when you read this story in some Purana, some master's life, you can relate because he is not there physically in front of you. But here I am sitting, alive, and I am telling this story. It looks too much. It feels too much. But what to do? When an enlightened person happens in the body, he brings all the great truths to life. He brings everything back to life. Sometimes people ask me, why did you do so many tapas, so much of spiritual practices, Swamiji? Like this puja, this feeding Ganesha. Why you need to do all these things? You are after all born enlightened. You could have expressed your enlightenment directly. I said, no. Expressing enlightenment is one thing. Bringing all these truths back to life through every incident, through every ritual, through every technique, is the purpose of an enlightened being landing in the body. Even though it looks little strong, understand what I said is honest truth. It's honest. The power of these words, the truth and strength behind these words will directly work on you. You don't even have to believe. You don't even have to have darka or kudarka. You will see the power of these words because this is vidarka, this is satya. It will create automatically the right vidarka in you, the right reasoning in you. I wanted you to understand this incident, my experience, so that you understand about that vidarka. Please understand. When I heard that master's story and started thinking, when he can, why not me? That is darka. When I started trying the wrong method, wrong technique, it's kudarka. And because of my trust, when the right thing clicked, it is vidarka. And it leads to Samprajnata Samadhi. That is what Patanjali calls here. The Vidarka leads to Samprajnata Samadhi, means Samadhi with the experience of a form. What I had is a Samprajnata Samadhi with Ganesha. When he came out and started eating, that's called Samprajnata Samadhi. One level of Samadhi. It's like a experience, spiritual experience with the form of the God, with the form of the deity, with the form of the existence. All the enlightened masters' forms are the expressions of the existence. If you have samadhi experience with that, means all other thoughts have disappeared. Only your master's form is there in front of you. You are having Samprajnata Samadhi. Sometime, even while you are working, I have seen many of our devotees come and tell me, Swamiji, morning whole day I was cooking, washing and doing all my work. But as an undercurrent, constantly your memory was there inside, Swamiji. It was so sweet. I was just filled with you. I don't know. I was not able to forget you. This is what we call in Sanskrit Leela Dhyana. Constantly being in the meditation of a divine Leelas. When the Leela Dhyana gets matured, you enter into Samprajnata Samadhi. That's what was happening with me in the Ganesha's thing. Whole day I'll be playing with Ganesha as if I was living with him. I was literally living with him. Whole day, whatever I do will be centered on the Ganesha. Morning, if I get up, I'll make him get up. And before I drink, I'll give water to him. After I brush the teeth, I'll have a small stick to brush his teeth. And after I take bath, I'll give bath to him. Once I put on the cloth, I'll put clothes for him. Once I apply that holy ash, I'll put the holy ash on him and sandal on him. I lived with him. Leela Dhyana was happening. Leela Dhyana, meditating on or strongly feeling connected, starts building up the right reasoning, vitarka, in your life. The second word, vichara, contemplation. Please understand, here Patanjali beautifully describes this 4 words. Vitarka vichara, ananda asmita. 4 words. Let me describe those 4 words. Vitarka and vichara. Vitarka leads to ananda. Vichara leads to asmita. All the 4 leads you to Samprajnata Samadhi. Please understand. He says, Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita. All these 4 leads you to Samprajnata Samadhi. Means the first level Samadhi. In Zen they call it Satori. In different traditions they have different names. Vitarka, the right reasoning, leads you directly to the bliss flowering. Vichara, contemplation, leads you directly to the pure awareness. These are two paths leading you to 2 different experiences and ultimately to the Samprajnata Samadhi. To the Samprajnata Samadhi. Ultimately, both together, they lead you to Samprajnata Samadhi. Samprajnata Samadhi. The right reasoning directly leads to Ananda. Please understand, this one link needs to be understood. Then you will understand what is right reasoning. Sometime you can see in your life when the right way the thoughts are going, suddenly you will see such a strong bliss inside you. Your whole being will be open, available, a clear reasoning, You understand whatever is happening around you. You will understand just suddenly the whole thing. But with Kudarka, you will never be able to have the awareness to understand the whole thing happening around you. You will always fall short of understanding. You will not be able to grasp what is going on around you. The whole picture will not be seen. I have a story about Kudarka. A divorce court judge said to the husband, "Sir, I have reviewed this case very carefully and I have decided to give your wife $800 a week." This guy replies, "That is very fair, Your Honor, and every now and then I will also try to send her a few bucks myself." With Kudarka, you will not have the whole picture. You will always be stuck with a short vision, without right idea, without any right view. I have one more story about Kudarka. Two newlyweds quickly realized that the marriage was not working and filed for divorce. The judge wanted to know what the problem was. The husband answered, "In the 7 weeks that we have been together, we have not been able to agree on a single thing." The judge turned to the wife, "Have you anything to say?" She replied, "It has been 8 weeks, Your Honor." Kudarka. It will always have the short vision. One more big problem with Kudarka, it does not look inside, it always looks outside. See, in my own case, when I was caught in the Kudarka, I was only bothered about threatening Ganesha and bothered about the food was not proper. See, because I was caught in the fear and greed, I was trying to work only on the fear and greed of Ganesha. I thought Ganesha also has fear and greed. So first I tried to work with Ganesha's fear. I'll put you in the well. Then I started working with Ganesha's greed. I'll have you good food. I'll give you good food. So because I am filled, see, with Kudarka, whatever you are, you project that on others. So I thought Ganesha also has same fear and greed. So I started seeing the same thing on Ganesha. Understand, I have seen many people. They come, they project all their fear and greed on my action. And of course, poor guys, only they suffer. When I projected my fear and greed on Ganesha with Kudarka, Ganesha never suffered, only I suffered. Ganesha was quite there. When I had Vidarka, right reasoning, he appeared and started connecting with me. Till then, he never suffered. Understand? With Kudarka, you will be the person who will be suffering. With Vidarka, you will straight away connect. The right reasoning, you will connect with that great truth. I can say, Kudarka is like a balloon happened. The whole happened in the great balloon of our civilization. It's like our civilization, if I consider, the Vedic civilization is like a ship. The Kudarka is like one hole happened in that ship. The whole thing drowned just because of that one Kudarka. That legitimacy, the truth, the strength of the Puranas and Vedic tradition, the honor, it's all truth. That trust was removed systematically from the Indian minds. That is why the whole civilization is in this worst danger. Worst danger. Understand, it is not just the danger for Bharat civilization, it is a danger for the whole planet Earth, because that was a civilization spent all its energy creating spiritual masters and spiritual energy and spiritual things and balancing the civilization's collective negativity, balancing the collective negativity of the humanity. The whole humanity's collective negativity was balanced by that civilization. Now, if that civilization loses that great spiritual strength, understand it is going to be a threat for the whole world, whole human civilization. It is time we reclaim our Vidarka. We drop and go beyond our Kudarka and understand the truth, strength of our Puranas, of our Upanishads, of our great spiritual scriptures. With Kudarka, it always finds fault with everything else, not inside you. I have one more story about Kudarka. Two guys were discussing problems in their respective marriages. I am going to get a divorce. One guy says, yesterday I saw my spouse with another one woman going into a movie. This guy says, oh dear, I am sorry, but you know, there could have been a perfect innocent explanation. Why did you not follow them into cinema? This guy says, I could not, because the guy I was with already has seen the cinema. So be very clear, with Kudarka, you only see the other side, not the inside. It is time we enter into the Vidarka, the right knowledge. Right knowledge straight away leads. You can see, you can feel inside your body. When the right reasoning is working, suddenly you will see you are fresh, alive. The brain feels completely relaxed and restful, and you are in peace. Sometimes these great ideas, see, the other day I was talking about an important idea that nothing will be lost, nothing can be taken away from you. There's a beautiful Upanishad Sutra word, Abhayam Sarvabhudebhyo. I give refuge to all the animate and inanimate beings. I was telling some of our disciples to internalize this truth. See, Abhayam Sarvabhudebhyo. What great concept. I am not going to compete with any of you. I am a dropout from this mad race. So nobody needs to be afraid of me. I am not going to be competition for anybody. I give refuge to all the animate and inanimate beings. If you just internalize these truths, suddenly you will see so much of fear, anxiety, suffering, everything just drops. Understand this one truth. If you internalize, nothing can be taken away from me what I am worthy of. Nothing can be enjoyed by me if I am not worthy of. So naturally, I don't need to compete in this mad race. So I don't need to be threat to anybody's life. I am not threat to anybody. I am just dropout. Whoever comes to me, I give refuge to everybody, whether they are animate or inanimate beings. It's such a powerful truth. If you internalize, if you just work with this truth, you see, use your reasoning to work with this truth. Naturally you will see, your one mind, your Kudarka will be saying, no, how can I give refuge? I myself need refuge. What kind of man I am? The Kudarka will tell all kinds of things. No, you are such a weak guy. How do you give refuge to everybody? And you are this like this only. Today you will decide all this. Tomorrow you will forget about all these things. It's okay. Your Kudarka will tell all kinds of things. Your mind will say, no. How can this be true? I cannot be a dropout. I have this, I have that. All these things will come up. But just have that Vidarka, the right reasoning, the Shraddha. Try to work with this idea. Suddenly you will see, when you understand, yes, true. Whatever I am acquiring. If I am not worthy, I am not able to enjoy. I may have a bed, I may have car, but I don't have sleep. It means what? I am not able to enjoy, which I am not worthy of. And I am always given, for which I am worthy of. If you work with the right reasoning, this truth suddenly puts you in ananda. With any truth, any idea, if your logic goes inside and comes out with ananda, you are with vidarka, right reasoning. With anything, your logic goes inside and comes out with a pain, depression, you are in kudarka. I have seen. People will have all kinds of kudarkas. I have seen all kinds of kudarkas. If you give meditation program, paid program, they will ask why money is charged. If you give like these free programs, why it is in the evening? It should have been in the weekend. Why it's in the weekdays? It should have been in the weekend. If it is weekend, why not near our place? It is the Radhakrishna temple is too far away from us. And if it is near your place, why don't you do it in my backyard? And even if it is the backyard, can I listen from my room? So kudarkis, anything. And they are such a powerful people, they can make hell out of heaven. No, they can make hell out of heaven. They don't need anything to do. Understand? They can make hell out of heaven. And they will be waiting to create hell. Even if they are in heaven, they will be just contemplating about hell. Let me create, wait, let me create. Maybe people are telling everything is going well. It is not. No. I am waiting for all these things to end. Then I'll show that this is hell. They'll be very clear. I have a story about that. A couple in their 90s appeared before a judge to ask for a divorce. The wife moaned. He gambles, he stays out nights, he runs around with women. I can't take any more. The husband countered. She does not do any housework. Her cooking is atrocious. She has no time for me. She sleeps around. How long this has been going on? Asked the judge. Both of them chorused. About 70 years. Now it is too much. The judge was bemused. So why did you wait till now to get a divorce? Both of them said, well, we were waiting for the kids to die. You may be waiting for the kids to die so that you can make hell. But understand, kudarka always leads to hell. And vidarka always leads to ananda. Vichara means contemplation, looking in. Looking in always leads to pure awareness. Pure awareness, asmita. Understand? Asmita and ananda put together is samadhi. Pure awareness and bliss put together is samadhi. Here, the vichara means look in. Understand? If you just look in without doing anything, just looking in is enough, you will achieve asmita, the pure awareness. See, these two words. The vitarka is supposed to be practiced 24 hours. It's a technique to do 24 hours. Constantly mending your reasoning, right reasoning. Vichara is a technique which you need to do sitting half an hour or 1 hour with closed eyes. Vichara is the technique, vidarka is a lifestyle. Then ananda and asmita will overflow in your being. Do vitarka whole day straighten out your logic. Constantly bring right reasoning, relaxing, understanding with right thing, means decide you will live to express the maximum of your body and mind. That is what I call right reasoning. Means you will live for enlightenment. Anything you reason should lead you back to enlightenment. Should lead you back to that one concept, Atmajnana, Jivan Mukti. Then you are with Vidarka. Anything takes you away from Jivan Mukti is Kudarka. And Vichara. Whenever you find time, sit, look in. Just look in. You will see by and by. See, if you start looking in, at least half an hour, 40 minutes, whenever you find time, by sitting, 2-3 months is more than enough for you to touch that asmita, that pure awareness. It's not, more than that is not needed. Because how much you will fight with you, you will also be tired of talking to yourself. You will be bored with fighting with you, because you are not that intelligent to bring new reasons to fight with you. So naturally, after 2-3 fight, you will be bored with that old reason. And you will say, enough, get lost. Arey, what to do? It's the same logic. It's the same mind. It's the same reason. You will say, get lost, leave it. You won't have much time to fight it. You will be bored of the same logic. I have a story about that. After 35 years of marriage, today is marriage special. A husband said he wanted a divorce. His wife was stunned. But John, she pleaded, how could you want to divorce me after all we have been through together? Remember how just after we met, you caught malaria and nearly died, but I looked after you. Then when your family were wiped out in hurricane, I was there for you. Then when you were falsely accused of armed robbery, I stood by you. Then when you lost $40,000 on the horses, I sympathized. And when that fire destroyed your office, I comforted you. How could you leave me? We have been through so much. He says, that is the problem. Face it, you are just a bad luck. Understand, you will realize your mind, your kudarka is bad luck. Your fight is a bad luck. Then you will naturally renounce. You will naturally renounce. You will have the asmita, the pure awareness, pure I amness. Understand? Not even I amness, pure amness. Amness is the ultimate amnesty. Residing in that amness, not even I amness, amness, just existence. The body is there, the prana is there, it is going inside, it is breathing, it is coming out, the system is working, the food is getting digested, the whole thing is happening. You are not there. Only what is there. That amness is what I call ashmita, the pure existence, the pure presence, the pure awareness. So, understand the sutra. Vitarka, vichara, ananda, ashmita, rupanugamat, samprajnataha. Reasoning, contemplation, blissful flowering, and the state of pure awareness are the characteristics of Samprajnata Samadhi. If you catch only reasoning, right reasoning, you may achieve ananda, but not pure awareness. If you catch only vichara, you may achieve pure awareness, but not ananda. So, if you do both, developing right reasoning and doing a particular technique with closed eyes. If you do both, people come and tell me, Swamiji, I don't have time to meditate, but I read all your books. You may have ananda. Vichara will develop. You will have ananda. People sometimes come and tell me, I don't have time to read your books, but I do Nitya Dhyan every day. You will develop vichara. You will have pure I-amness, the pure awareness, but you may not have ananda. Please understand, do both. Nityam, dhyanam. Nityam is what I call developing right reasoning, vidarka, and dhyanam. That's what I call vichara, contemplation. You will have the pure awareness, asmita and bliss flowering, ananda, both. Have nityam and dhyanam, you will have nityanandam in your life. So, let you all internalize these great truths. I bless you all. Let you all achieve and radiate Jivan Mukti, the living enlightenment. Let you all achieve and radiate the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.
All that I feel